You guys stayed off elimination tonight. What can you say about your team's battle all the way to the end and Curtis getting that game winner?
Yeah, it's another close hockey game. I like the way we started. Came out on our toes. They had their moments of really good pushes, including we took on a little bit of water there in the third. But then, obviously, huge moment in overtime. Put a puck in a good spot. We were connected, and we put one into a hard area, and fortunate enough to get one by them.
Third overtime, fourth game that's decided by one goal. What makes these teams so close, and what can you do to be on top the next two games?
Yeah, you know what? It's that time of year. When you're in the Final Four, everyone's structured, everyone's detailed. It's trying to outlast your opponent in those areas, win your intangibles, win your moments. We did a really good job of that for the most part. I'm sure they'll look back and they won't be overly displeased with their game either. So just like after a loss for us, we said, hey, there's a lot of good. Let's try and mitigate some of the bad, clean up a few areas, and now we have to make sure we do that after a win too.
What can you say about Magnus stepping in relief on Wednesday and then tonight getting the start? Both of your goalies, you've been relying on them all year, going back and forth.
Well, it's a nice luxury for our group. Magnus was the MVP of our team first half of the season, hands down. Remy came alive, took charge. We've had two guys that we've been able to rely on all season long. We told them before playoffs started, you're both going to be playing. I can't tell you exactly when, but there's going to be moments. And, when you have depth in a position like that and we have a chance to utilize, fresh legs or our bench, so to speak, we're going to take an opportunity. And I thought, Magnus did a great job coming in relief last game, came in, did a great job here today, and I think speaks to the closest of our locker room. Guys rally around each other. They want to help someone get his feet under him, do a good job, and, what a job by Magnus.
McKenzie's been a leader for y'all. He was there physically and emotionally tonight. What does it mean for him to get that big goal?
Yeah, he's a hockey player. He's done it before. He lives for this moment. You see his best hockey every year in the postseason. He's been to the finals 3 times. He understands what it takes, and he also understands how to be present. Right now, we need to chip away. We need to kind of stay in the moment, and there's no better guy to follow than your captain.
But you guys on the road now for hopefully 2 more games up there. How tough is that going to be to come up with the victories up there?
Yeah, they're all tough. Today wasn't easy. So, like I told you there after the loss, let's reset, refocus, retool. We travel tomorrow. Our opponent travels tomorrow. Let's manage our body first and foremost, and then we'll get back to the mental side here on game day.
How big has Alex Petrovic been coming back for you guys after being up for a little while, especially with that physical play at the end of the second? It seems like he's brought a lot to your group.
Yeah, no doubt. We just talked about Curtis McKenzie. He kind of drives the bus as a forward, and Alex does it on the back end. And, I've been very fortunate. I've coached him for 4 years. We've all been through a lot together. We've all had, a lot of different teams and prospects, but we've had a couple staples, and he's one of them. I appreciate what he does for our group. When he was playing for Dallas, we were rooting for him every day. Couldn't be more proud. Obviously you see a lot of young prospects go up, but when you see a guy who literally shows the guys what to do day in, day out, on the ice, off the ice, and then he goes into the biggest moment of his career and does a terrific job, you love to see that for a guy. So to get him back, what a boost. You know what he's going to do on both sides of the puck. He's a part of our family here, and we're really happy to have him.
Anything else for Neil?
Coach, talking about the physicality at the end of the second period, that there was kind of a delay with the officials. What did the officials tell you when they skated over to the bench?
Are you referencing when there was a little bit of a dust up there? Yeah, you know what? They just wanted to make sure they got it right. I think, it's loud, great atmosphere, and I think, we just wanted to make sure we understood correctly. And, they explained exactly what the calls were. It was going to be 5-on-5 hockey. Told us the reasoning, and then you get ready for your next play.
Coach, what's your reaction? I know in the organization you're probably not focused on the NHL, but when there's a coaching change to that level, you've seen a couple. What's your reaction when you think about your place in the organization and what that could mean down the road? Yeah,
we tell our players to stay present, stay where your feet are. You never like to see anyone lose their job. It's a tough industry that we're all in. Right now we're in a playoff hunt. We're trying to win a Calder Cup, and that's our focus. But at the end of the day, I've been a part of this organization for 13 years, and I love this organization, and it's been a great opportunity for me.